everyone, and welcome to this Fireside Chat with Kathleen Devaney, the Hills head of school, who is now in her third year leading our community. We are also very fortunate this year to be joined by Hans Mentz from the class of 1989, Managing Director at Rockefeller Capital Management, a member of the Board of Trustees, and most importantly, current parent to a member of the class of 2027 Auto. I'm Wallace Gundy, a very proud member of the class of 2004 and president of the Alumni Association, and I'm really thrilled to be with you all here today and to help share, the unique perspective that we have with Kathleen and Hans with our broader alumni community, and shed some light on really the incredible work that's happening here on campus, especially in light of the 175th year of our school. So let's get started. Kathleen, walking around campus today, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Students seem so happy. And I've been fortunate to be back on campus a couple of times a year, and I'm tapped into the Hill social media and all of that. And really what's just so clear is that incredible things are happening here on campus in the classroom and beyond. Can you tell us a little bit about how the school year is going?
Sure. We started the school year with 530 students, which is the number we've opened up at for the past couple of years. It's a great size. And in that number is 179 new students join the fold, which is a lot of work to do for the sixth formers as they all assume their boarding positions, in the student body, but also the leadership. So when we came back this summer, we had our pre-seasons, of course, and we had our leadership training that went along with that. We have pre-season for theater as well. And so all the students really had a nice way to warm up and get into the fold before classes began in earnest in early September. And we've been on a roll. There's been great energy on campus. We started actually a little bit differently for the faculty, and this was a field that I think the students felt intersected with, and that was we did some AI training for the faculty. Wow. It actually was done, Don Ryu, who's both a trustee and alum of Hill and a parent, helped us put together sort of a boot camp that the faculty went through, and then we were able to push that into the classrooms as well. So there were some nice new things that we were doing, but also it just felt great to be into the regular schedule of the school year. Our teams are doing well. As I said, classes have great energy. Our theater program's putting on Little Women. Orchestras, making things happen, Lord of the Dance, a lot of really fun things. But your point about the campus looking fantastic is true, and we hear it all the time. And I think one of the best parts about it is you see students outside all the time enjoying the spaces and all the spaces in between.
That's wonderful. Are there any particularly memorable moments from the school year so far that you can share with us?
Well, we are talking in the middle of Lawrenceville Rivalry Week, so we have the banging of the spoons and the different pieces that go with that. But Parents Weekend, Hans, you were here for that, was just wonderful. It was this opportunity, the games that were played, the concerts that happened, all the parents here. We had, I think, a record-breaking attendance for that. It felt really good to have everyone here and enjoying that time and community together. The other pieces that would be big markers for us would have been, obviously, we have our fall board weekend. Then Hill had to go through an accreditation. All schools go through an accreditation every 10 years, and ours came up in the end of September this year. We had a great visit from 11 independent school leaders, and they did a wonderful report that came with recommendations and commendations, and all of it was both helpful and glowing, which was really reaffirming. So that was really fantastic. Those are some of the administrative highlights, but I always say to my husband, for me, a highlight, I just love seated meal. And I would say there's nothing that a good seated meal can't fix in a day.
That's great to hear. And as an alum, I think what's so wonderful is watching the school evolve, but knowing some of those critical traditions are very much alive and well here on campus. So one thing that I find myself, talking with classmates and fellow alumni about to that point is really how the school has evolved. Can you comment a little bit more on, today's Hill student, where our students are coming from, things of that nature?
Sure, they're coming from all over the country, and they're coming from all over the world. I think we have a special mix. I said 530, I think that's the perfect size for a school community. It's big enough to start in one way your third form year and grow into somebody even more than that as you become a sixth former, but also tight enough to be in a place where you're with people who know you and support you all the way through. Our students are incredibly talented. They're talented in the classroom. I have the opportunity to play in the orchestra with them, so I every single day, I just see the talent there. My husband, Mark DeCanter, who teaches AP Bio and Advanced Environmental, he's actually a stand-in. I can't even call him a stand-in. He is Mr. Lawrence in Little Women because a student couldn't do it, so Mark is there. He's there right now. They're in the middle of all that. Our students are phenomenally talented. And you see them in one realm and you're like, oh, that's great. She's an amazing flautist. He's a great clarinetist. And then you see them sing, or then you hear them up making an announcement talking about Pottstown Cares, or then they're talking about some app they've developed in TSA or a book they've read, and I just am amazed. It's not that we have students who are spiked in one area of passion or talent, but rather incredibly talented broadly. And I would just say, most importantly, but also I think one of the secret sauces of Hill is we have kids with incredible character and incredible commitment to this community. And I know that's not everywhere, but it's really special and present here.
It's wonderful to hear about how multidimensional they are. Can you shed a bit more light on the faculty similarly?
Yeah, well, absolutely. We have 117 faculty members. Hill, as the alumni surely know, we have a fantastic classics department, a fantastic humanities, our core of English. All of our programs are great. We have 4 years of engineering in its own department there. Our faculty, I think close to 80% of them have their advanced degree already, and the ones who are coming here new, we support them to get the rest from there. We have, one of the things I think that's amazing about Hill is the faculty who have stayed at the school for so long. I mean, you have Mark Pearson, you have Margie Neiswender, you have Joe Lagore, and it goes on. But then you also have people in the middle of their careers, whether it's Courtney Neese and Jeff Neese, Seth Eilberg. These are familiar names. And then you have brand new ones, Dylan Jennings and my favorite, Mark DeCanter. But it's an equally talented faculty who commit their lives, but also just bringing in new perspectives from different places. So you have both people who know the school sort of as it goes long, and then you have people bringing other places to it, but really who buy in and commit to all that Hill is.
And one thing that I find so interesting is how many alumni have come back to work here, and sometimes come back, left, and then come back again. And so that always, as a trustee, that makes me feel very comfortable and confident that we're doing something right, that people will choose to continue spending their entire life here. It's really amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, also the element of more junior faculty and more senior faculty, everyone's really learning from each other in different ways. And to your point around alumni who are back on campus, I mean, that's a whole nother dimension that's enriching the community.
Well, and something we actually even added this year for our faculty is we've started this piece called PLGs, which is breaking the faculty into cohorts, and it's led by the senior masters, but it also does a heterogeneous pull of the faculty. And the point is just to be doubling down on collegiality, and most of that is getting to know one another, getting to know each other in a casual setting, sharing information, just sharing a meal, or talking about something serious. But that piece is essential, but being intentional about doing it is really important too.
We're going to switch gears a little bit. Hans, you're a member of the Board of Trustees and a current parent, and have Hill ties that extend all the way back to when you were a faculty child growing up on campus.
Just like you.
Right.
Can I ask, what is it about the Hill that's just kept you so involved? And really, why do you love this place?
Yeah. So my father and I came here in 1979, and so it's been a long time. And when I finished my last year as a faculty member, that was in 2000. And so over that time period, I'd spent half my life, 14 of my 28 years on campus. And so for me, it's home.
Is there an element of your time as a student, when you were a student here, that's just really particularly stuck with you and been impactful on you?
Yeah, athletics was a big part of my life. And so we're back this weekend for the Hall of Fame and Lawrenceville weekend, and I get to see a bunch of guys that I played football with, and I'm really excited. That's going to be super fun. So we've been emailing each other and heckling each other a little bit. So this is a really special weekend.
The Hall of Fame, I think this weekend is always special for so many reasons, but I do feel like you are for all the inductees, you sort of go back in time a little bit, and that's pretty special. So. And
there's other great people coming in, so I'm so excited for everybody that'll be there to be going in with Bill Yinger, who was here as a student when I was a faculty member, and a couple of other trustees coming in. It's a neat time.
Great, good. As a current parent, what is it like experiencing the school from that perspective?
Yeah, it's Ottawa's. When he arrived, I think he felt like he was supposed to follow the path that I'd gone, and that wasn't perfect for him. And the first 2 years maybe were not, I call it his glass half full time. And towards the end of last spring, he started figuring out what he wanted to do, and we had a couple of conversations, and one of those things was he didn't want to play football anymore, which was something that was a big part of my time here, but he really wanted to focus on the theater and on sound engineering. And those two choices have turned his perception of school around completely, and he is glass half full all the time now, so it's pretty neat.
Good. What advice would you give fellow alumni whose children are starting at the Hill or maybe are considering having their children attend the Hill?
Yeah, I would say that for the people that were of my era, you have to come back and see the school. It is a different place in so many positive ways. It's just a happier place. I mean, there was a time when this was a little bit grim here. I still loved it, but it was grim. And now that it's co-ed, and it's just a very positive place. And I walk around the campus, kids are looking you in the eye, saying hello, excited to be here. Really dynamic place.
Great. So switching gears again, you chair the advancement and governance committees of the Board of Trustees and are a member of the executive and finance investment committees.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about what this entails and the work that those groups are doing?
Sure. So the Finance and Investment Committee is in charge of the endowment, and so I'm happy to report that as of last month, we're up to $250 million endowment. We've had a 13% return year to date. The portfolio's nicely diversified, and I think for people who are thinking of Hill, we're in good financial straight. So that's super
and
positive.
I'm sure many schools can't say that necessarily.
Many schools can't say that, but I will say that the schools that we would most like to beat in admissions and in sports, many have had significant $100, $200 million gifts, and so endowments are often $500 million to $1 billion. So as well positioned as we are in regards to the vast majority of schools, against the very top schools, we're still in a weaker position in that regard.
Okay. There's work to be done.
There's work to be done. On some of the other committees, we're working with Kathleen and her team on the strategic plan, sort of looking forward into the next 5 years. There's a campus plan going on. On governance, we've been working hard to expand the Board of Trustees. We've expanded from 28 to 35 members. We have been working on the committee structure to make sure that the board is interacting with the school in the most positive and constructive ways possible, adding value where we can and staying away from areas that we probably shouldn't be involved in. And we've also been working on improving engagement. During COVID, we obviously had to go to remote and sort of getting people back involved. This was a board that for most of the time the board has been around has been a very in-person elbow grease, doing the work in person. And we've worked with Kathleen to get committees back on campus, meeting together, and it's been, this past weekend was spectacular. It really was. It was the best of it. It reminded me of why this was such a fun job to volunteer for. We have a spectacular group of people on the board. And when we're all here in person interacting together, I think really good things can happen.
That's wonderful. From your perspective as a trustee in particular, what do you really see as being the biggest strengths of the school right now?
So the faculty and the students that are here now are amazing. When I look at, when we've looked at other schools as part of our board duties, every school has something they're good at. I think our challenge is in the next 5 years, we've tried to be good at everything for a long time, and that arms race is not one that you can win against schools that have $1 billion endowment. So I think we need to choose where we're going to be excellent and some areas that we might not need to try to run the race. So that's a conversation we've all been having. And,
in parallel to that, what do you really see as being the biggest opportunities?
So endowment, for increasing the endowment to be competitive on recruiting the best faculty members and recruiting the best students. That, to me, I think is the most interesting opportunity. We have 2 former trustees, Marshall Wallach and Preston Athey, who have both endowed significant scholarships. And seeing them interact with those kids over the years has been really special. And then seeing them now that they've gone through Hill, gone through college, and knowing them as alums has been something that's truly impressive. And I'd like to be able to show that to other alumni who are interested in that and start other similar programs.
And Rusty Newton and John Millar do the same work. I mean, it's really incredible and unbelievably impactful.
And I'm sure they probably are able to see sort of the fruits of that in the eyes of these students and in their experiences.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
being able to take that, far beyond campus after graduation.
They come back and meet with them on campus and then have ongoing relationships with them. And I think part of it's just getting the word out that these scholarships are available and that we're looking for great people.
Yeah, wonderful. So you did mention briefly the strategic plan. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that. You both have been deeply involved in developing this, and really this is going to inform the future direction of the school and the priorities for the years ahead. Can you just share a little bit more about the process of developing, a strategic plan? Who's involved? How has the process evolved, et cetera?
Sure. So we started this, I guess it would have been 2 years ago, spring, doing the work, checking in with other schools on what they did and consultants, et cetera. But ultimately went out, created a steering committee for it. John Millar and Madison Benedum, Tim Fish, who worked for NAIS and had done a lot of strategic planning work, Ari Baum and I are that group. But we did a lot of work of putting surveys out, students, faculty, parents, alums, the entire community, doing meetings, doing site meetings, all sorts of different pieces to get as much information as possible. And as important as that was, what was also incredibly energizing was it was pretty clear pretty quickly what the priorities were. And as Hans said, we know we need to grow the endowment. We know we need to do that work. But specifically, what does that allow us to do? It allows us to support the students. We have an A+ student body. Make sure we will always be able to support that student body. And then to give ourselves the boost to go after those kids who we want to go head to head. We know we do with program, but we don't always with financial award, particularly with institutions that are able to give that award to families earning just under $500,000. Those are not normally who you would consider qualifying, and they are. So that's one piece, but also making sure compensation for employees is competitive. It's a competitive market. People are committing their lives to this institution, and they need to be well paid in order to see themselves here forever. On a physical plant basis, obviously Hill's done, you mentioned it. It looks fantastic. We're in the Ryan Library right now, the expanded Alumni Chapel, Millheiser Dining Hall. These are the quadrivium, beautiful. But the one piece we didn't take care of was the dormitories, and we need to do that work. We need to renovate Rolfe and Foster. We need to build a new dorm that will be able to make sure that we fully accommodate our 530 students who go to Hill. And the last piece, the last priority is to make sure we're really naming the Hill School experience. Did a lot of reading with Paul Chancellor, The History of the Hill, Part 1, 1978, and walking through that of what is that narrative, what are we talking about, what is the program we're delivering, how can we be even better, and to what Hans says, how can we be strategic about what we're doing. You can't do 100 things, but Hill does many things incredibly well, and we will always do academics. Academic excellence will always be the foundation of Hill's identity, and our arts program, and our athletics. These are all top-notch, but within those pieces, where can we lean in even more? It's exciting. It's exciting to do that work. It's exciting to bring all the different people into it. To make sure that that journey for Hill students from third form to sixth form year is all that it can be, because it's transformative.
So a question for both of you, what part of the strategic plan are you most excited about? Are you just most feeling energized and jazzed about?
Well, with a son that just lived in Foster last year, I'm very excited about improving Rolfe and Foster. As somebody that also lived in them as a faculty member.
And they probably look the same.
And they looked very similar. Those are projects that I think we can all get behind.
Great.
Yeah, and I would say I agree with that, and I just feel so strongly that this is a chance for Hill, with as far as its endowment goes, with particularly financial aid and for compensation, that we can be a change maker, and the time is now. It's exciting.
Absolutely. It sounds like much of this is very people focused, which I think is really wonderful. So how can alumni support this? How can alumni be a part?
Well, the first thing I would always say is alumni can refer good families. The alumni can stay involved. Obviously, volunteering, showing up for events, bringing somebody else to an event with them. All of that, there's incredible spirit and great energy, and spreading the word of that, I think, is essential. We always want alum support, but mostly we'd like them also to come back, to see us as we are now, to meet the people who are populating this campus today, and be a part of our tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, as you and I have talked about this, any way we can get you to come back to campus while school is in session, I think that's the magic. You've got to see this place in action. It really is spectacular. And that's the trick. Obviously, we're going to do a campaign and raise capital, but Hill people have been generous forever. As you know, your dad ran the office. I worked for him. We used to raise $1 million a year. We're raising well over $5 million a year. So that means that lots of Hill people are leaning in and being supportive. And I think they're doing so because they can see the place as a winner. Things are really moving forward.
And that's just the annual fund.
That's the annual fund.
And on top of that, we were up close to 18 million last year in capital raise. It's exciting.
That's right.
Absolutely. Very exciting for sure. We're going to switch gears a bit to talk a little bit about the 175th year, which I think is, for those of you alumni who didn't realize, it's the 175th year of our wonderful school. It's a thrilling time for the Hill. A lot of entities, a lot of schools, businesses, companies, what have you, never make it to 175 years. Newspapers, magazines, etc. And so we're really fortunate to be hitting this milestone. What are you most looking forward to this year in terms of when you think about the 175th in particular? What are you most excited about?
Well, I think just the possibility of the engagement. I think it gives us an opportunity for a year's time to be really deliberate about the pieces that we're offering, giving opportunities for alumni to engage, for students to celebrate, for faculty to learn more about, even more about the school. I mean, the school will actually turn 175 on May 1st of 2026. I find that fascinating personally because
seems a little off.
Well, yeah, May 1st, I'm like, why wasn't it September 1st? And then I called Chancellor. Turns out that the school year started on May 1st. So Matthew Meggs opened up his home, and May 1st until the middle of November was the first term. And I think we will make sure that we are doing both celebration points all over the country that alum can intersect with, but also making sure that we're opening the archives up, learning more about ourselves along the way. allowing us, I think the faculty, the alumni to engage with things like book clubs, perhaps with Doc Malone, and other history pieces that people might be interested in being involved with by Chris Carey-Lazon or Mark Pearson. This is a wonderful opportunity, all culminating really in I would say June of 2027, when the final part of the celebration of 175 would conclude.
And as a person that loves reunions, that's what I'm looking forward to, because it's the supersized reunion where you hope to see everybody. And
well, it's quite a birthday celebration, that is for sure. I've recently learned that I believe the word is Dodrin's bicentennial. Am I pronouncing that?
I think that's true.
Okay. Has that become at all a frequently used word on campus?
It hasn't.
We struggled with the sesquicentennial back in the day.
That one. I like
but that one rolls off the tongue a little bit smoother.
It really, I agree with you. For sure.
We're going with 175.
Okay. All right. Someone in the classics department could
absolutely. In the classics department, they're celebrating that heavily.
I've been thinking a lot about this milestone, and I was doing a little bit of recon on kind of where we fall in relation to, and I thought about making this a quiz show, but we're going to hold off on that. The hill is the hill's older than Cornell, 1865.
Excuse me.
Stanford, 1885. UC Berkeley, 1868. Wells Fargo and Anheuser-Busch were 1852. Macy's was 1858. Palmolive was 1864. Arm & Hammer, 1867, and MetLife and Tabasco, 1868.
Tabasco.
So
there is a hill connection with Tabasco.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
fun fact.
Random alumni office knowledge.
500.
So I say all of that because that's a pretty incredible, just a smattering of some of the major names that we're sort of in the same, era of. What do you think, Kathleen, is it about the Hill that's really allowed the school to endure for so long?
I mean, it has to be the investment of people. I find myself often overwhelmed when I think about how many people have invested their lives in this school. Really, the whole Meg's family is just Alfred Rolfe. I mean, they just the names go on and on. This place is based on a foundation, obviously, of Pennsylvania brownstone, but it also is based on a foundation of people's commitment to it. And I love that. There's a tenacity, there's a stick to it, there's a stubbornness, there's a gravity to it that I think still permeates this campus. I don't know what the key is, but it certainly was one of I believe, probably shared by everybody. We will never relent until this place succeeds. And it has succeeded and succeeded and succeeded, and we are blessed to stand on that success.
Hans, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I just think in the pantheon of school choices out there, there's lots of different places that kids can choose. And when people ask me about Hill, I say, one, you gotta visit. You gotta see the campus. But I think what you're gonna find is a welcoming community, that family boarding school, which is hard for people to understand until they come here and see that. And I think the open discourse on all sorts of issues, and that we haven't tilted with the wind on social issues in either direction over the years. And I think people can come here and be themselves and be welcomed, and that's great.
So when we think about the school, teachers are obviously a huge part about what makes this place great. You both have indicated that, many times here. And Hill alumni have, so many memories of teachers, coaches, mentors that they had here and their impact on the impact that they had on them. Hans, can you tell us a little bit about, one or two teachers or coaches who influenced you while you were here as a student?
Sure. I mean, Dick O'Shaughnessy lives larger than life. I was out to dinner with Dave Willman last night and ended up having a 15, 20-minute conversation about the whole O'Shaughnessy family, but literally being just in awe of Dick and his athletic ability, but at the same time, he and Winnie were pulling us aside and giving us life lessons and just, steady Eddie, good Midwestern values and really positive, supportive people.
Yeah. When you think obviously about your time at Hill, but beyond as well, the other schools you've been a part of, what are the characteristics of some of the most impactful teachers and mentors and coaches that you've had?
In our day, it was sort of a relentless pursuit of your own excellence, and they just never let you rest. And I remember, now people all knew my father because he was a faculty member here, so I might have felt this a little bit more acutely than some other people, but it felt like whenever I didn't do my best, somebody was tapping me on the shoulder and saying, come on, Hans, that was not your best. Like, you can do a little bit better. And I think being around people like that puts you in position that repeated lesson, you just go on and realize you need to do your best all the time and really position yourself to do so.
So the Saturday night survey, do you remember the Saturday night survey?
Mr. Pierre, of course. I participated for many years.
I'm bringing this up in the spirit of wonderful, teachers and mentors and coaches as well. Willis Pierre was a beloved math teacher and campus photographer and a variety of other things for about 32 years at the Hill. And the Saturday night survey was an email that he sent to alumni, faculty, friends, far and wide, every Saturday night. And Hans, I'm sure you were on the distribution list and hadn't just heard of it, but I'm sure you were on the distribution list.
I had a dedicated email address for that and Tom Roos missives.
Yes.
Because they overwhelmed my other email address.
Because you'd also get all the replies.
Yes.
So it was every Saturday, hundreds of emails.
It was a lot.
But the questions were simple and were a way for our community to just really get to know one another and identify common bonds. So in the spirit of the Saturday night survey, we're going to do some rapid fire Willis Pierre style questions.
Excellent.
So what are you reading right now?
I am reading, I usually do 2 books at once. So I'm reading Undaunted Courage, Stephen Ambrose, The Exploration of the West by Lewis and Clark. And I have a book by David Brooks. I will read anything he's written.
Okay.
I am reading a lot of financial research, mainly from J.P. Morgan. Thank you.
I mean, this is good based on what you said a few minutes
Anything you
ago.
want to share with the
we can talk about stock tips later.
Okay.
What shows are you streaming right now? I'm sure you don't have much time to, but if you do.
But I did watch Dark Winds, which is a
I don't
show
know that.
about the Navajo Nation.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Police force on the Navajo Nation. And sidebar, I, in my professional life, manage money for Native American tribes, and so I found that to be an interesting light into that culture.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Slow Horses.
That's a great one.
It is great.
I read that too.
I've got to read it. People say you should read it even if you've watched it.
That's my book.
That'll be your next nightstand.
He wants to change his answer. Pull the email back.
All right, music or podcasts, what are you listening to?
Well, I always listen to The Daily and Left, Right, and Center. Music, I listen, camp, I don't know. I listen to anything.
All right.
For Jim Reifschneider, the band, The Last Waltz.
Oh.
All right, do you have a favorite Hill tradition?
I refuse to be limited to one, but we did just have Halloween, and I can't get enough of it, and I just always feel like I want to say, you just need to understand this is not everywhere. Not everywhere is every single kid dressing up in incredibly creative outfits at night and having all the different things that happen. So I love Halloween. I do love Lawrenceville Week, I think, and Rivalry Week. I think that's incredible. it's not really a tradition, but it is a favorite of mine, which is the Secret Santa, the all-school Secret Santa, which again, should be impossible, but like many things impossible, Hill makes happen.
Yeah. Halloween works for me too, because I was, as a 7-year-old, came here and just saw a room full of people that were dressed up, and I thought that was pretty spectacular. And again, as an athlete, Lawrenceville weekend was the ultimate, and so this is a good weekend.
And I do need to do a shout out to Ellen and Mark Nelson, who are the reigning 40-year champions of Halloween costumes and contests.
Do you have a favorite spot on campus?
You know, I was thinking about this, and someone is going to kick me afterwards, but I think today as an adult, it's actually the chapel, which is so ironic since I spent every demerit I had as a student avoiding chapel. But I now go into the chapel and I just sit there, and it feels peaceful, and it reminds me of all the good things.
I do love the chapel as well, but I would say the 1971 garden. It's just beautiful, but it is hard to choose one. Though I did just make an appointment to tour the steam tunnels. I'll see if that makes my new favorite spot. I'll let you know, and maybe we should book tours over reunions.
We could
Halloween tours.
No, no, we won't do that.
I think that would be a reunion straw. I do.
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't be? Yeah, forget the 5K. Sign me up for the tunnel tour.
We can do this fireside chat from there next year.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have hard hats on.
All right, do you have a favorite restaurant in Pottstown, Hans?
So Blue Elephant was my go-to and Otto's go-to, but last night I went to Contessa Pasta Bar.
Oh, I heard about that. Was it good?
It was really good.
Oh, wow.
But they haven't gotten their liquor license, and they may be shutting down after only being open for a month or so.
That didn't make them a BYOB?
They were BYOB, but I don't know if it's economically working.
I got to get in there fast. I have heard good things.
Yes.
What about you? Favorite restaurant in Pottstown?
I do like to go to the terminal. That's a new sort of like Reading terminal.
Oh,
There's
fun.
new Pottstown terminal. It's all local businesses, but I like the railroad. Grilled cheese, hamburgers. It's really good.
I think the Pottstown restaurant scene has significantly improved over the years.
Elevation. Yeah. Although the very best is still there and operating.
Yeah.
Got to get your hot dog on.
So you're a contestant on Jeopardy. What is the category or subject that you have no stress about?
Hill trivia.
I was going to say, I actually thought you might. I honestly thought maybe Hans.
It would have been better 20 years ago when I was closer to my days here, but.
Yeah. I'll always have stress about probably trivia, but I feel like we're going back to like my dad, playing with my dad, and it would have been like geography and history, the blue and the green, the blue and the yellow wedge, the old Trivial Pursuit.
Okay. Yeah. All right, in the spirit of this generation, your AI tool of choice.
Well, I do like Copilot Chat, but that's also because that's the legal Hill AI application. I do like it a lot. I think it's excellent, and I use it every day. It's a great tool. It's a great partner in a lot of different pieces of work.
Yeah, I use Copilot too, and being in a financial industry, we're somewhat regulated. So Amy uses Perplexity a bunch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty much the Copilot.
Right. All right, last question. You've been given a round trip ticket to the destination of your choice. Where are you going and who are you bringing?
I'll go if you're not ready.
Okay, you start, yeah.
I'd take my family to Austria to go skiing.
Oh, okay.
That's been one we've been talking about for a while, but haven't quite been able to make the schedules work.
Nice. I would take my family, I would go to Istanbul.
Wow. Okay.
But I want to go skiing with Hans's family in Austria along the way, so we'll stop there first.
You try Park City.
Then we'll go to Istanbul. But then I want to do a road trip. Actually, you gave me a flight, right? Was a flight? Can I use it for gas?
Sure, absolutely.
Can I use my money for gas?
It's a voucher.
Yeah. Then it would be going across country and visiting all the national parks.
Oh, wow. In an RV or something, or?
Yeah, we'd probably need to get an RV.
Okay.
We'd save that on the fare. Yeah.
Awesome. So Hill alumni, we're fiercely loyal. We're grateful to be a part of the school, and we're thrilled by the history and tradition of this place. We want to really do our part to help ensure that the school is around for another 175 years, whatever that word is, and even beyond that. Hans, what about being a Hill alum really makes you just the most proud?
The network is amazing. And so my 7 years that I worked here in the alumni office, part of my job was going out to meet with people and engage them and try to get them to engage with the Hill. And some of our most notable alumni, Lamar Hunt, for instance, would pick up the phone every time, was excited to talk about Hill football. When they finally, Kansas City Chiefs finally played the Eagles in Philadelphia, he brought his team on the field. He brought the Hill varsity and JV teams to the game. And so that kind of connection where people care not just about their class, but about what's going on at Hill, and we could run through a number of different examples, that's just the neatest part. And never get tired of meeting new people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think our Hill ties really expand over the years and become only bigger, which is pretty powerful. How would you describe Hill alumni?
Generous, smart, often successful, but that's not the all of it. Almost always going out of their way to help other people who are alumni. And sometimes in the smallest ways, but it's always been a very supportive culture, both here on campus and then later on. And I think the neatest thing is when I go to a town or a city and run into one and they say, oh yeah, it's John or so-and-so, 20 years difference in age, and they're hanging out playing golf, or I always think that's one of the neat things.
Yeah, I agree. And Kathleen, as you've gotten to know more and more Hill alumni since your time as head of school, how would you describe Hill alumni, and how do you feel like that's evolved in the last few years?
Well, I love traveling to see Hill alums. I love hearing their stories. I feel as though that helps me to understand the school that much better and equip me to do my job leading this school as the best I can. I just think they're ferociously proud of their association with this place. That's the biggest takeaway. As Hans said, they won't always describe it as the most wonderful, happiest, joy-filled time, but they will talk about what they learned. They will talk about how they learned to really put their shoulder to the wheel, or expect more of themselves, or learn to write, or learn to think, or learn the habits that help them 20 years later. I think it's always an enjoyable meeting when I meet with Hill alums.
One of the odd things that I found when I worked in the alumni office is that there are more than a handful of people that did not make it all the way through Hill that are undyingly loyal to Hill because it was the first place that said, no, you can't do that, and you need to change your behavior. And then they went on to change their behavior and have massive success. And they look back to that moment in time and said, somebody finally set me on the right path. And even though they might not have come back to Hill, some unbelievably loyal and
there's a gratitude that exists.
Exactly. Yep.
Kathleen, what can we as alumni do to best support you and all the wonderful things happening on campus, and really help with all of this? How can we help?
Engage with us. Again, there's so many opportunities to do so. Shelley Baumgarten runs an awesome department, and she puts on incredible receptions all over the country. All over the world. We're about to leave to go to Asia, and we'll have receptions in Hong Kong with Bernie Chan. We'll have receptions in Shanghai and in Seoul, Korea. It's very exciting. But engaging, showing up, and as I said, coming back to campus.
Yeah, and coming back to campus, not just to visit, but sometimes to be part of the class, right? The economics class. Ari and that team have had a number of alumni back to speak to the students. I had a chance to speak to the AP class, and it's an amazing opportunity as an alumnus to come into the room and go, I don't think I was this smart at all. They're really hotshot kids, and I think the difference in our day most of us were really focused on college. So many of these kids are really already starting to look further beyond that and think about careers and being able to engage with them. And then honestly, I've heard back from them years later as they're going through college and gotten into their first level of career, and that conversation keeps going.
Well, and also we're rolling out a mentorship program, the way that we could help our students transition to college, how alums could be helpful there, trying to organize internships for our students while they're here as they think about what they might want to do in college. There's 100 ways that engagement can happen for Hill alums.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you both for giving me and giving our alumni your time today. It's really it's wonderful to hear all that you both are doing and all that's happening here in Pottstown and on our campus. Thank you so much for your leadership, Kathleen, and all of your leadership on our board, Hans. This is such an exciting time to be an alum, and I really look forward to seeing how the rest of the year unfolds. And thank you to all of our alumni and friends who are tuning in today. Through the year, the Hill hosts a variety of alumni events in major cities across the U.S. and internationally, as we've just heard as well. But also, there are wonderful opportunities to come back to campus and really see this school in action. So we encourage you to do that as well. Check the website for details on events in your city and alumni events on campus. But in addition to that, save the date for Reunion Weekend, which is sort of the apex alumni event of the year, June 5th to the 7th, 2026. All are invited, but we'll be honoring the 1s and the 6s at this year's reunion cycle. We hope we'll see you in person on the road or on campus sometime soon, and go Hill!